Supervisors is August 6th, 2024. Any conflict of interest, guys, on the agenda today?
None.
Okay. Any changes to the agenda, Mark?
No.
Okay, got a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Had a chance to look over the minutes of July 16th. Any changes to those, Mark?
No, sir.
Any questions, guys?
Nope.
Motion to approve the July 16th minutes is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Chance to look over the claims for the month.
Yep. No questions.
Any questions there? Motion to approve the claims is presented.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. At this time, I want to recess the regular session meeting, and do I have a motion to open the hearing for master matrix for L&S Farms?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Meeting is now open. One of you gentlemen want to come up here?
Sure. Go ahead.
Introduce yourself and talk about this matrix.
So I'm Kent Krause with Pinnacle, and we're a firm that works with livestock producers in the state of Iowa, keeping them in compliance with the Iowa DNR and EPA. So we're working with Scott McLaughlin here. His production site was damaged by the tornado there in
April 26th.
Yeah. So with that, it took the roofs and the framing off the production buildings, and then it also collapsed the steel structure, the slurry store that he stored his manures in. As they were looking at rebuild options between lead times on a similar steel tank and some of the advantages that on the new production facilities, we've been using a cement tank as an alternative to the steel tanks. And so Scott chose to go with a cement tank, and we're taking down foundation and all the steel tank that's at that location. So the cement tank that we've got in the permits going to sit in the exact same location of the existing tank. We're slightly different in dimensions. This one's 150 foot in diameter as compared to the first one was 120. This one is going to have 12-foot sidewalls as opposed to the 21-foot steel sidewalls, but it'll sit in the ground 8 feet and have about 4 feet exposed above ground. So hold a similar amount of gallons as far as storage capacity. It's an engineered tank. We'll have cement, rebar tie-ins with foundation, but we have a professional engineer stamp on those prints, as well as Iowa DNR reviews those prints and then monitors the construction of that tank. So with that, I can go through the master matrix if you'd like. So I wasn't able to come out for the site visit. I don't know if anybody had any questions as a result of the site visit that you want me to answer. Okay.
Tony was at the site visit, so was Bryce.
Right.
Okay.
Tony, you speak up too if you have any comments as I start. But so the Iowa Master Matrix is a tool that we use with producers as they try to find a location or the most optimal location to build production sites. This site had been there, didn't need a master matrix when it was originally built, but because we're building a new manure storage structure, it fell into the current rules on that. So with that, the master matrix has 44 questions, and we're required to get 440 points in this evaluation, and it looks at that site and its impact to the local air system, local water system, and the local community. So air has a lot to do with separation distances and diluting the odors that do come off these facilities. Water is pretty obvious. The further we are away from water, the more opportunity there is to keep that water clean, or in the event of a spill, get it stopped before it can get to the water. And community primarily revolves around concentration, and then again, distance and separation distances to public use areas, church, schools, businesses, etc. So as we go through that, we talk about separation distances, and we meet the separation distances to existing residences. We have an extra 124 feet there. There's potential for 100 points on question number 1, but because of separation distances when this site was originally built as compared to they are today, we didn't score any extra points on question number 1. So then we proceed to the next question. Additional separation distance above the minimums to the closest public use area. 1,250 feet was the required distance when this site was built. We exceed that by 1,500 feet, so we scored 30 points out of a possible 30 on question number 2. Additional separation distance above the minimum to the closest school, church, or business. Again, 1,250 feet was the requirement. We exceed it by 1,501, so on question number 3, we score an additional 30 points out of 30 on question number 3. Question number 4 evaluates distance to the closest water source, and so that's any water, big or small, anything with a cut channel, even though it's maybe dry 364 days a year. If it carries water, the state counts it as water. We're required to be 500 feet. We have 898 feet, so we scored an additional 5 points on question number 4. There's points if the site is a certain distance off of the road. And again, those points are as an incentive to get them set back off the roads and eliminate the drive-by odor. So with that, this site sits 568 feet off the road. Out of a 300-foot minimum for these points, so we score 30 points on question number 5. Additional separation distance above the minimum to closest critical public area. So that would be, a national monument, Lincoln's birthplace, or something like that. There's none within 1,750 feet, so we scored 10 points on question number 6. Additional separation distance to private or public wells. So again, just the further away we are from a well, the thought is less opportunity for contamination. This well requires a 200-foot separation distance. We're at 600 feet away, and so we score 30 points of 30 for question number 7. For being additional distance away from a well. Question 8 looks at additional separation distance to the closest ag drainage wells, sinkholes, or major water source. I don't think you have any ag drainage wells or sinkholes in this county, but major water source, we're required to be 1,000 feet away. We're 2,670 feet away, and so we scored 30 points on question number 8. Question 9 deals with concentration, and so there's extra points if we're more than 3/4 of a mile away from additional other sites that have manure management plans. There's none within 3,960 feet, so he scores 25 points on question number 9. Question number 10 deals with additional separation distance to high-quality waters. High quality water resources and protected water areas. We're required to be 1,000 feet, and there's none within 2,000 feet, so we score 30 points on question number 10. The next points we take, so we're at question number 11. There's points available for air quality modeling. Iowa doesn't actually have an air quality model. And so we could try to apply the University of Minnesota offset. We've never been successful making their model work here in Iowa. This will be an open outside tank. There were questions, or there's points available if it was covered, like if we were a pitted building. Again, we've got an outside covered open tank, so we won't be taking points for question number 12. The next points we take are question number 17, and there's points for form manure storage. You think about, well, what wouldn't have form storage? An anaerobic lagoon, and again, they're primarily built on sow units where we're containing larger quantities of water. But there are clay constructed structures still legal today. But again, because we're cement or steel would qualify, there's 30 points available there on question number 17. Okay. Question 19. There's 20 points available if this facility has a truck turnaround. And again, the goal there is to get the trucks in off the highway to eliminate any traffic hazards and poor visibility. This site has always had a truck turnaround. It's what I call a 3-point turn, where you pull into the site, back up on the site, pull forward, and then back up to the loading chute. The matrix describes a 120-foot diameter in their description of it. If you notice in the permit, we've drawn in that 120-foot diameter. We'll add to the existing driveway to meet that. But as far as the square footage that's already on the site, more than exceeds that 120-foot square foot requirement. But we've got some redundancy drawn into that, so to actually qualify for these points. Scott's never had an administrative order, so there's 30 points there for question number 20. Question number 22 is the homestead tax exemption, so there's 25 points available for question number 22. And then by size on question number 24, he actually falls into one of the smaller categories. So question number 24 gives him 20 points towards his score. These buildings will utilize a water saving design as far as I think you're still using swinging nipples, aren't you, Scott? So swinging nipples as compared to the old gate-mounted nipple waters where the hog would lay along the gate and suck on that nipple all afternoon and let it run down his chin. We've taken that opportunity away from him. Now we'll utilize a swinging nipple where it's hard. He's going to be able to get his drink, but the other pigs are going to keep knocking that away from him so that they can get a drink. But anyway, that water-saving device allows him 25 points towards a score. And with that, the goal is less water wasted. It results in a less manure generated and a more concentrated manure. This was a change we made in the matrix. We had some alfalfa ground in there that would have made injection of the manures hard to do. Scott said that alfalfa's coming out of production anyway, so we went ahead and included injection of manure on the Satan bait that it's applied. They inject all their manures going ahead of row crop anyway, so it's not a change from what he's been doing. The one thing I would say with that, that injection commitment there, that's a lifetime commitment for the life of the facilities. So that'll always be designed into the nutrient management plan. Okay. With that, we're getting down towards the end of it. He gets 5 points if he stays more than 200 feet away from any public use area when he's applying his manure. He gets an additional 5 points for staying an additional 200 feet away from churches, schools, or businesses when he's applying his manure. Scott has a worker safety plan incorporated into the permit, talking about how do we stay safe and we're working these buildings, boots, coveralls, dust masks, those sort of things. An emergency action plan, he gets 5 points for that. That addresses having your local fire, ambulance, police, those phone numbers posted by the phone. It also addresses if we do have a spill, who's our closest dirt contractor to come in and help us berm up and contain manure if we've got it headed towards water. So that's incorporated into the master matrix. It also addresses, there's 5 points there for what's called a closure plan. So someday if these facilities are ever taken out of production, it addresses the manures will be applied to whatever state, federal laws require at that point. And then the building will be taken down and disposed of, recycled, etc. And with that, okay, and then the last one, there's points taken for what's called an environmental management system. And that's also included in the permit, but it just addresses everything that we do through the permitting process. So with that, he scores 445 points of the 440 that are required on the master matrix. There's also subcategories within that air, water, and community. He scores 68 of the required 53 on the air section. He scores 135 of the required 67 from a water perspective. And he scores 242 of a required 101 from a community perspective. So scores well above the minimum, even when looking at the subcategories there. I do have pictures here of separation distances and the building layout. If you're not familiar with the site, you're welcome to look at anything here. And the county would have gotten a complete copy of this permit as we submitted it.
Tony, would you have anything to add to, you were out there?
Yeah, I took the opportunity to validate the numbers and the setbacks from the aerials and so on, and everything looks great. Our office was used as the point of contact with the public notice that if anyone from the public wanted to review the material or make comments or so on, and I heard absolutely nothing. No questions, no inquiries, no nothing. I, over the years, have never had any complaints about the site. Sounds like you're great neighbors, and it's not a new site. We're simply putting back what was there.
Right. I haven't had any concerns or questions, you guys? No. Okay. Scott, is there anything you would like to add?
No, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you guys today and present this. I wish we wouldn't have had to gone through the whole process.
Yeah, all of us do.
Yeah.
Especially you.
Yeah, but we're not perfect, but we do our best to be the best neighbors we can, considerate of everybody around us. I think it speaks that we've had no administrative action from the DNR in 23 years of existence, and we look forward to continuing that efforts. So,
and people don't know, Scott is just right north of the site. So.
His house is the closest house to the site.
yeah.
Yep.
And I live a mile away, and it's been perfect, no problems at all. So
Yeah.
Thanks.
At this time, is there anybody from the public have any comments they'd like to make? Okay, I don't see any. Hey, you guys got anything else? Okay, then we're gonna go ahead. Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. So resuming the regular meeting. Next on the agenda is approve and accept the scoring of the master matrix, which is 445 of the 440 for LNS Livestock. We had a motion. Motion by Bryce, a second by Charlie. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you for attending today. Thanks for your job well done. Okay.
If I could take just a minute, kind of the timeline now going forward. DNR was out on the site visit there last week. We've heard back from them. the manure management plan portion of the permit that went in, Allison Mans would have been the lead with DNR out there. She said that all looked perfect. So the manure management plan portion of it, we expect to have a quick approval on. The DNR engineer up in the Mason City office has had the cement specifications and the engineer's design there for over a month. My sense is that's ready for approval with that. So we expect what we call a notice of intent to permit to come from the DNR here within the next couple days. With that, and again, Scott's already got the buildings going up and being reconstructed. We're not allowed to start on the manure storage part of it until we get that final permit. But if we could ask, when they send that notice of intent to permit, they're going to give the county 14 days to review or reconsider. But assuming no objections from the public or any concerns on your part, if you would consider waiving that 14 days, and then that would let Scott get started maybe just a few days quicker.
Okay.
We're talking about a couple weeks, but at the same time, as he's trying to schedule pig dates and stuff, every date's important, so.
Okay.
I believe you guys could waive that today because it's not controversial. Everything,
Yeah, we haven't had.
you could deny it today and it's not gonna make any difference. So,
Yeah.
Need a motion for that?
yeah.
Well, and what I'll do, and I don't know what, so this is a letter we've used for producers before, and I've created a preliminary draft on it. From this letter's perspective, I don't know what day they're actually going to issue that notice of intent to permit, but if you'd like, I'll leave this with you, and then once we get that notice of intent, we'll finish filling in the correct dates for you.
Okay.
And then if you would want to make a motion on it, and maybe you can do it today.
Yeah, just give them
but-
permission to sign.
But anyway, if you could help us with that,
Yeah, I don't see
know
no problem.
we'd sure
There are no
appreciate it.
issues here. They're meeting the matrix.
Okay.
It's just a time frame of getting it built, so.
Okay.
I believe we did that for Beeson's operation.
I think so too. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I'll go ahead and ask for a motion
Motion.
for notice of intent for LNS Livestock. Motion by Charlie.
Second.
Second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. So when we get that, get it filled out, then I can commit and sign.
Okay, very good,
Okay.
appreciate it.
Or Bryce.
Okay.
either
Or
one.
Bryce, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, okay, thank you.
I left 3 business cards, I apologize I didn't bring it up for everybody,
That's
but Tony knows how to get a hold of us, but if you have any questions, feel free to call
Yep,
anytime.
appreciate your transparency and everything.
Yep.
you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Piece of cake.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, Jordan
Yep.
Sanders, EMS report. Morning, Jordan.
Morning, guys.
Jordan?
How are you?
Good. Fine, how are you?
Let's give you these. I sent them out yesterday and that's just, so that's revenues and expenses detailed out. Last month, we had just over 88,000 in expenses. So if we could keep it at that every month, we'd be okay. With that, our salaries were a little bit higher than what we're planning on. The person that we hired for EMT sent me an email 5 days after accepting and then turned down the position. So I had to reopen and rehire. So now we have a new EMT. His name is Eric Heidnasher. He's from Glenwood. And he will be fantastic. He's started, he worked a few days, all his paperwork is done, he's in the system. And we're looking forward to working with him. It'll be good. The last page is a report from PCC through April. Shows we have An outstanding accounts receivable balance of $406,000. Of that, I don't really have a good number of what to expect out of that. I just had some claims the other day from Hawkeye, which is a supplemental insurance, it's state insurance. We had $21,000 in bills on it. We received a check for $357. If that tells you kind of what we're up against, it's.
So what did you learn from them when you met with
So I learned a
them?
lot from PCC, so mostly good things. So their business model was, they just have all of these people, and within every 3 weeks they try and go through and clear out the cache of run reports to do. Since my poking of the bear, you could call it, they have changed their model a little bit, and they are putting government agencies at the top of their list now to do a weekly billing instead of every 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whenever each agency comes into turn. So now they are doing ours every week. When I finally got a hold of her, she's like, well, we just finished 74 runs. I was like, that's over a half of a month. We can't do that. So now they're doing it weekly. Our revenues seem to be coming in more frequently. I'm getting them pretty much every day now.
That's good.
I just gave Carolyn checks for $43,228. So that's good. That's not counting our electronic ones that we received. Most of them are checks. We've also got some in there that they give us a credit card payment rather than a check, and then we have to activate it somehow, and then we get charged 3% and blah, blah, blah. So we're denying all of those and forcing them to write us a check. So at some point in time, we'll receive a decent check from the 2 different insurance companies that are not really paying us. They're paying us, but they're not really paying us at this point. So our revenues continue to go up. We are seeing more people paying their bills. Seems like we're getting a couple, 2, 3 personal checks a week now of actually getting bills paid, so that's good. So all in all, things are looking better on the accounts receivable part. But like she said, we're 8 months into this, and it just, all of these things take time to get in place. Like VA, we haven't received any payments from VA. I've got like 362 pages of documents to go through and get filed accordingly to file with the VA. So I'm working on getting set up with the VA. She said it takes 2 or 3 months of paperwork just to get, so we can get claims
Not surprising.
from the VA. So we're still learning things. We're moving forward. Everything is going so far so good. We've had one of our ambulance that's been down for 4 days now. The air conditioner hasn't been working, and it's been too hot to run it. It goes in tomorrow to get fixed. So that will be good to have done.
Going back to this, does she think, PC, do they think from what we budgeted revenues we'll be able to meet that goal?
She thinks we should be able to be at that goal or higher. She said the biggest part is it takes time to get claims out, and then there's processes for making sure that people are paying their claims. And once we start getting the bills that are non-insurance covered, and people start paying those, she thinks that we should be able to
So we
meet
should be able to
our.
meet the percentage
Yeah.
that they thought we budgeted. So how does that compare to with like Carroll and the other counties you're supposed to look at?
So it actually compares pretty close. So Carroll County's got a higher revenue, but they run over 1,000 more calls
Yeah, or twice
a month than we do. So
But the percentage that they get off of revenue should be, ours should be equal to the
so the percentage, once we get established with all of the insurance payers, and people start paying their bills, our percentages should look almost identical.
Okay. So is the VA the main one, or we have other ones we need to get set up?
There's other little ones. The little ones, the ones that aren't a government agency, such as the VA, they're taking care of getting all of that stuff set up. So as I get, so they send me a 5-page document, and we need this, 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 and this. I just send it to PCC, and they take care of all of that for us.
Okay.
As part of the contract that we have with them.
So when do you feel then we should be more or less getting kind of in a norm? I mean, 2 months, 6 months?
I would say within probably 6 months, we'll start
Be more reliable.
plateauing out and having a steady
The lag will be gone.
stream. Correct. And she said this is just, it's pretty common with, well, it's not pretty, it's 100% common with any new business that you start, especially in the insurance world. Everything is harder and they're paying less and it's just,
Okay. Then my last question on that is, I maybe haven't had this discussion with her yet, but, okay, there's gonna be bills that are not gonna get paid. Okay, do they go after to try to collect them?
So I did have that conversation with her, and there's a couple of different models that we can use, and she's supposed to be sending me information on those. So as soon as I have the information, I will give it to you. One that seems to be the most common, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head now, but it's through the Iowa Treasurer's Office, and basically they put a lien on
Yep.
properties.
Yep.
And then
Things that gets her attention
Yep.
at some point.
Well, she said-
Not immediately.
And she said the one other bigger government agency that they work with, somebody just came in and paid their bill from 2006 because of it. She said it does get paid, it just, it takes time.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we're going after.
Yep, we had that conversation. So as soon as she gets me all of that information, I will present that, I'll send it to you guys, and we can talk about, well, but she also said we're not to that point with any of our customers yet.
Do you know, like, Carroll County or the other ones you talked to?
That I didn't
How
ask.
do they go up there?
I didn't ask that question. I need to ask that one.
Yeah, I would. There's something we need to do. Okay, thank you. On
And
that
then,
part.
so we have new EMT. Tonight is National Night Out. I'm sure Tom will talk about it. So we will be at the Vets Auditorium outside the parking lot this evening. We'll have a couple ambulances and some staff there that the public can meet and get to with ambulances and things like that. And we're still averaging 121 or so calls a month. So our volume is pretty high. So, which is,
How's the new schedule working?
I'm tired, but it's working.
Cut back on overtime.
We're cutting back on overtime. We'll especially be cutting back on overtime once we get Eric on the schedule. So all those spots where we had the new EMT had to be filled. So that's why I say we were higher on salaries this last month. July and August will be higher because we haven't had the person to fill in, so people have had to pick up shifts to cover that. So that will go down at the end of this month.
Okay.
Once he gets trained. I don't want to put him in right away. We're going to train for a month before I take people off of the schedule and put him in. I have met with Salem Home and Elmcrest, so we have contracts with them now for returning patients instead of returning them for free right now. Charging, having a bill. I still am working on meeting with Daniel and Avoca, but I've got 2 of the 3 taken care of.
Okay.
And lastly, Bryce said in interviews, we hired or promoted a paramedic, Austin Tompkins, to the lead paramedic position. Somebody that can pick up if I'm, for instance, my wife has surgery tomorrow, so I'll be gone for a week, taking care of things at home. So he'll be able to answer questions, take phone calls, things like that. With that, I would like to give him $1 an hour raise, which is in line with what like the lead dispatcher role does. I didn't know if that was something that I could do, or if you guys needed to vote on that, or how you wanted that to look.
Is it, because we approve the different wage scales and job description, if it's part of that, then you're able to do
It
that?
falls within he'll still be within the hourly rate of
Okay,
his.
so he won't be exceeding it.
Correct.
Yeah, then you're able to do that. Again, it goes back to everything else.
Yep.
You have to manage the budget on that,
Yep.
so, yeah. So as long as we have that, again, in our
Yep.
wage scale.
Yep.
Okay.
And that is all I have. If you guys have any questions?
Let's see. Nope, that answers my question. And then, for the meetings coming up, if we could get the budget like this up the next day or
I-
or a couple days in advance.
I had planned on it and I
Okay.
just ran out of time.
Okay.
So, but yes, I will make sure to get that on. And then when I get that information from PCC on how they
Okay, glad you had that conversation.
do that, we'll get that shipped to you.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, is supervisors, any committee reports, guys?
None, nothing new.
Let's see. The governor sent a letter out to USDA a couple weeks ago and had all the federal delegation, Congressman Beansher, Grassley, Ernst, sign that, going back with the disaster declaration, where she's asking the question that we've brought up many times, is why is an SBA looking at farm producers as a business like they do ag retail? I called her office yesterday, and they haven't gotten a response back yet. So they're, of course, it's not just our county, but all out there, so she's working on that. If I get an update, maybe for the next meeting, I'll let you know where that's at. Our pipeline consideration motion to IUB is supposed to be coming back with a response by August 14th. And we'll see what happens there. And then sometime after that date, I'm guessing toward the second half of August, the board here will be having a meeting with Tim Whipple to go over that and see where we go from there. Okay? Next on the agenda, Todd Valeen, Shelby County Chamber. Good morning, Todd.
Morning, Todd.
Good morning. Well, like Jordan mentioned, we do have a National Night Out tonight down in front of Vince from 5:30 to 7:30, and kind of it's good to have this event come back. Looking forward to it, and especially with just recent changes in our countywide emergency response, to give people a chance to possibly meet some folks they don't know yet, and with the new deputies and everything else. So, and I believe Roger's planning on doing some type of a rescue demonstration. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do. We'll have hot dogs and cotton candy and water, a lot of stuff down there for people to enjoy. So we'll have that going on. Just a reminder to folks that out in front of Shelby County Community Outreach now is the stand for Grow Another Row. So if you've got extra produce coming out of your gardens, that's a good place to take it, along with West Central. And then if folks need some produce, if they didn't plant a garden, they'd like to have some fresh garden, they should feel free to go take what they need. So we are getting to the point where the city pools are closing, so just a reminder to the folks out there that Elkhorn City Pool will close on Wednesday the 14th, and the pool here in Harlan will be closing on Saturday. So,
This Saturday?
yeah.
Wow.
I know. School is screaming up there very fast. Yeah. And then we've partnered with Milk and Honey. We're going to start a new program every second Thursday of the month. We're going to have a after-hours networking opportunity at Milk and Honey. Folks do not have to be chamber members to attend. We want all businesses that want to attend, so they can just get to talking to each other, networking, and we'll have snacks that we provide, and then they have beverages there that people can buy if they want them. And then finally, Iowa Western Community College has started a new leadership and management series. It'll run from Wednesday, September 4th through November 30th, and people should go out and take a look at this series on their website, because there's a myriad of topics, and you can either take them by individual topic or you can take the whole series. But for people who are either trying to advance in their careers, or individuals who would like to get some leadership training for their employees, this will be a really good series for them. So with that, that's it from us for tonight.
Okay.
Today.
When did you say Milk and Honey things were?
The second Thursday of every week starting this week.
Okay. Did you do it?
How about the second Thursday of every month?
Okay, thanks, Todd.
Thank you.
Secondary roads report, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How are you?
You have a right-of-way permit, I see.
I do. Let's get that done first.
Okay.
Then we'll move on. Okay, right-of-way permit is from FMC ETC. And what they would like to do is bore right around 500 feet of new fiber on F32 close to address 1229. They'll place 2 bolts and bore between them, so nobody's disturbed, no landowners, nothing like that.
On our right of way.
It'll be on our right-of-way.
Okay.
They're trying to get out of somebody else's property, I believe, so. Just tie the lines together, shouldn't be a big deal, and actually should be very, very easy, so. There's no questions, I would approve that if you gentlemen would also.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the FMCTC permit on F32.
Second.
Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you. Just a few quick updates since we talked the last time. We are continuing to work on M16 on that culvert that failed. Last week we poured the head wall. They got it formed and poured by the end of the week, so it sat all weekend. Strip forms yesterday. We still have to pour a collar for the 2 sections of pipe meet before we backfill. So that it should be done today yet. We get it poured, it can sit, we start backfilling, reshaping, try and get closed up and get out of there. Excuse me. I know they went out and they're moving the crane today. In fact, it should be gone. That will be going down to the next bridge down by the park. So that should be out of the way there.
Will we get any financial help with that, like through PA or anything?
Still sounds like nothing, according to the state, from what I've been hearing, so it'll still be submitted and all that.
Culvert
but,
on F6 or on M16? Does that
I know,
qualify for PA?
I'm still waiting to hear back from the state on the PA side to get our first meeting set up. We did get approved for everything, but we haven't started the process.
Make sure you at least ask them.
Yeah, and it's all being kept track of and they'll be a grand total, so we'll have something to say, this is what it took.
Okay.
But anyway, we'd like to get that buttoned up and get it flowing back through that structure again and get the field drive patched up for the farm that are on that parcel, so. That's one of the big things. Bridge crew, we've been out trying to clean off bridge decks, different decks around the county. There's quite a few that had rock and debris on them that needed to be cleaned. Still cleaning under some of the guardrails to get the water to shed before it hits the bridge. And we're doing all this because we're still waiting for Mid-American to move the electric lines on the next bridge project. So that was supposed to have been done last week, and then, as we all know, a major windstorm came through southwest Iowa, and I believe that kicked us back further. So as of yesterday, they're supposed to get down there as soon as they can, which is hopefully in the near future so we can begin working down there too. Since we're into August, it'd be nice to keep progressing. Last big thing, we're still working on pulling in and recrowning M56 north of Jacksonville. We've made it right to 1200th, so we'll keep progressing south. Once we hit Jacksonville, the plan is to stop. We will go down to the Cass County line on M56 north of Marnie, start working back north. That way we can haul rock directly out of Atlantic. We'll be closer that way, re-rock backwards. So that should save some time and effort there too. Progress back north and see how far we can make it, depending on rains and water and everything else we need for that. So just keep going. Blading, blading as we can. Touching up, we have touched up some of the dirt roads, and I think we're going to try and get on more of them if we haven't already. Just again, we're to August and harvest will show up before we know it. So get those as we can and get them dressed up.
Okay.
But other than that, that's my.
Just down one guy yet?
We are. We did finally get a few applications in, so I believe we're going to interview someone today.
Okay.
And then hopefully with forthcoming days, the rest of them also. So hopefully we'll get somebody hired.
Yep.
And then we'll be full staffed again.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Next on the agenda is accept nomination for Shelby County Compensation Board. Mark?
Yeah, you guys, the supervisors, Shelby County Supervisors, considered and approved reinstating the compensation board, and so we need members They've been nominated by the county offices. Those people that have been nominated: Auditor Ruth Ann Grimsley, County Attorney Frank Powers, Recorder Vicki Arrett, Treasurer Jim Zimmerman, Supervisors, there's 2 of them, Matt Friend and Jeff Faw, and the Sheriff representative would be Darren Hakey. If you guys would accept those nominations.
Okay. Any question? Second. Okay. Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie to approve the nomination for Shelby County Compensation Boards for 2 and 4-year terms. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Thanks, Mark. Next on the agenda, annual liquor license for Corley Community Club. Same as usual.
Yes. It's just a
Any
yearly thing,
problems?
and I've never heard a word from
No
Corley.
problem.
No.
Okay. You guys have any questions on that, concerns?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve the annual liquor license for the community hall. Motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Next on the agenda, appoint Title VI coordinator. Mark?
Yeah, if Chris will help me out with that. This is,
You want me to back up there?
Yeah, come on up. Should have looked ahead a little bit.
maybe you can
Save
put
the
it in
trip.
layman's terms better than I can, rather than reading off a...
Well, I guess the biggest thing with that is if there's ever any ADA complaints or issues.
With what?
Anything throughout the county that may affect the county. Or
Like an example.
say there is a sidewalk in front of the courthouse and it's not ADA compliant, or
Okay.
somebody creates an issue about it.
Okay.
That issue comes before somebody that's appointed by the Board of Supervisors to handle.
Just for county, just for county property?
No, it isn't. It's,
Everything, right.
it affects anything. It'll also affect, say, any projects that the county may do as far as secondary roads. If there's a complaint for not only ADA, but discrimination or anything like that is also included. So the county engineer has been the coordinator. What I have found out talking to other counties, a lot of times that is not beneficial, because most of the time, any complaints that come through during a project. So I would be in control of the
a
project,
secondary roads project.
but yet the complaint would also come to me, so I would.
Conflict of interest.
Yes, I'd be fielding both sides. So Mark and I spoke, and he said he'd be willing to take on this, and there's other county auditors who fill the position.
We had a malfunction on our door one time, the
Courthouse
accessible
door?
And I went down there and took the bolts off the thing so it would open that much further, because it was less than an inch from opening up for the lady. I took the bolts out, opened it up, she got in, let her out, had it adjusted, had people out. They fixed it, and it's that type of thing.
Yeah,
And the state contacted me, and they said, we need this fixed, we got a complaint. And I said she was happy as she could be, and I said, here's a copy of the letter that she wrote back because I helped her get in, and I never heard a word back from them then. But, so it affects everything.
It can be, yeah.
Have you had any issues since you worked for the county?
I have never had any at all.
That the
And I've
new
never-
supervisor did?
No,
Okay.
and like I say, that.
But we have to have somebody available.
Yeah, somebody's appointed just for that exact reason. If something comes through,
Yeah.
it has someplace to go.
Mark's willing to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And ICAP's good about spotting those things, at least on county property.
So we're going to make the county auditor responsible.
Yep.
I got a lot of doors I'd like raised.
Why would that be?
I can tell which ones.
I have a complaint.
Ones with the-
Yeah.
Okay, we have, Mark, or the auditor's been willing to be appointed the Title VI coordinator. Motion?
Second.
Motion by Bryce, second by Charlie. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay.
Both
Mark,
of you.
you'll send those in, or do I need to give you
Yeah.
an email to that? Or you say,
Is there a big statement goes with that?
Yeah, there's,
thank you, Mark.
yeah, not a problem. They, yeah, they'll let me know if they don't have the right paperwork.
Okay.
I'll guarantee you they will.
Oh, they will. Don't worry.
Okay, Last on the agenda, accept and approve bids for courthouse roof. I know Mark's been working on this for some time, so.
Yep, since late winter, been trying to get bids, and the bidders have started accusing each other of not putting things in their bids. So I spelled it all out, and I don't know if it made them all happy, but we did receive a bid that was right with their, they've submitted 3 bids, and they've all remained constant. The other ones dropped their bid one time, and then they raised their bid this last time. And you guys have seen all the bids, and I'd recommend Elevate Roofing.
And they're all both apples to apples.
Yes, and I gave them a strict, I think I submitted it all to you, telling them exactly what we want them to do. Because they were accusing each other of not doing the same things.
Yeah.
And their terminology, nomenclature, whatever you want to call it,
So
differs from company.
5 page spelled out, it's pretty detailed.
Yeah, and these guys also, our roof, the jail roof, they inspect it every year, take new pictures every year, and it's never costed us a dime unless we've had them make necessary repairs. I mean, that's great having a local company, and I'm glad that they did have the low bid, and I recommend that Elevate Roofing get the bid.
Okay, so we have a low bid of $42,118 from Elevate Roofing. And we also had a bid from McInnes Roofing, sheet material, and that's for $98,010. So,
They went up $60,000 when I told them what I wanted to do,
okay.
and they just didn't want to do it.
I'd make a motion to do Elevate.
Okay,
I'll second that.
motion to go with Elevate Roofing's bid, motion by Charlie, second by Bryce. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried, so they'll get us on the schedule, and we'll see what happens when we get her done.
Yeah.
We don't have anything leaking right now.
Yes, there's
We
one
do.
seam that is leaking, and they're aware of it, and I called it and scheduled a temporary repair until they can.
Until they get here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I just called them the other day.
Okay, anybody else have anything else? Anything from the public? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.